Hey, fifth graders, this is the start of your new week of videos. We're going to start with Monday. Today, you're going to do something a little different. So last year, we didn't have a chance to do standardized testing because of closing down in March. Since we didn't have a chance to do that, I want to kind of test some of your skills from last year and the years before. So we're going to do something today called a diagnostic test. This is not graded. I'm going to put that down here so everybody knows. It's not meant to be stressful. It's not meant for you to try to make 100 on. You can't really study for it. It's just something so I can see how we're doing with our math, see what we need to focus more on, see what we can skip, see what we can not spend a whole lot of time on. It's just something to see where we are in math, especially our new friends that weren't with us last year. I want to see where they are. So we're going to do this today. You'll notice on some parts of it, I've marked it off because I don't want you to do it. The ones that are not marked off, do. You can do them on notebook paper and put your answers on that little sheet. That's fine. I prefer you to write your answer on the document on Shobi because it's a lot easier for me to grade. When you're doing it, there's some that are so super simple, so don't overthink it. A lot of them are really, really, really easy. Some of them you might not know. Some of them you might think are too easy. Just do what you can. If there's one you don't know, do your best. It's not graded. Oops, forgot a D on that. It's not graded, so it's not going to be anything you need to worry about if you don't do well on it, okay? So this is what you're going to do today, and there is no homework, okay? No homework tonight. I just want you to do this for me today. The test itself is pretty long, so we're only going to do parts of it. We'll do a part today and maybe a part next week. This is the only part we'll do this week, though, okay? So log on to Shobi, look at the diagnostic test. It's 2 pages. You're going to skip the last part of the first page, and it's marked out for you. Okay, so do that for me. If you have any questions, let me know. Remember, it's not graded, so please do not stress out about it. All right, Tuesday's video. Today we're going to move on to decimals and expanded form. So look with me on page 26. This is something that you're going to need to focus a lot of your attention on. Make sure you're understanding what we're doing here because it is kind of confusing. So let's look at the top of page 26. A Titan beetle can reach a length of 541 thousandths foot. How can Lily express this length in expanded form? To write numbers in expanded form, use the place value of each digit. You can show a number using decimal or fraction notation. So look at our little chart here. We have standard form of 2 3 thousandths. So let's write that number, 2 3 thousandths. Then they show you 2 ways to do expanded form, decimals and fractions. So remember with expanded form, you're making it longer. You're doing the addition and the multiplication symbols. So we start with our whole number. We have 2 for our whole number. So we're going to say, okay, in our heads, how do we make 2? Well, 2 is in the ones place, so 2 times 1. Remember this when we did this a couple weeks ago. You're multiplying by the place it's in. So 2 times 1, and then we put our plus sign. Remember, we skip zeros. So then we go to 3. We write 3, and then it's in the thousandths place. So I do 0.001. And that's how you would write that in decimal notation. If we wanted to do fraction, it's essentially the same way. 2 times 1, because it's in the ones place, plus, we skip zeros. Now this time, instead of doing 3 times 0.001, we're going to make that into 3. Sorry, hold on. Let me back up just a minute. We're going to make it plus 3 times, and then instead of doing the decimal, we're going to do 1 over 1,000. Okay, so it's not really hard. You just have to kind of take your time with it and do each one slowly. If you don't do it slowly, it's going to make it hard for you to figure out. Okay, so I'm going to clear this one and we're going to do another one. And we're going to do them in both ways because you have to know them in both ways on the in this chapter. So let's do the next one they give us, 0.068. So that's 68 thousandths. So in decimal notation, we start with whatever numbers we have first. We have no whole numbers. In our tenths place is a 0, so we can skip it. In our hundredths place is a 6. So I say 6 times 100th. Okay. Then I go to my 8. So I'm going to do plus 8 times 0.001. And I put the 0.001 because that's thousandths, and 8 is in the thousandths place. And that's all you would do on that one, super easy. If we're doing it with the fractions, we do 6 times 1 over 100 plus 8 times 1 over 1,000. So all we're doing here is stretching it out both ways. And they're really simple once you kind of do it step by step and look into it. So let's do the last one they give us. I'm going to erase all these. And remember, you can pause it, go back if I'm going too quick. I kind of have to go through these fast because it gives me a time limit on Zoom with how long I can be on here. So let's look at this one. This one is 888 thousandths. So no whole numbers, so we're going to start with the first 8 in the tenths place. So we're going to say 8 times 0.1 because that is tenths, plus 8 times 0.01 for the hundredths, plus 8 times 0.001 for thousandths. And that's how we would do our decimal notation. Our fraction notation would be 8 times 1/10 plus 8 times 1/100th plus 8 times 1/1000th. That's how we would do that one. So as long as you're taking it slowly, step by step, it's pretty easy to figure out. Make sure that you are looking at each number, looking at each place it is. So let's look at what it says underneath the chart. It says in 888 thousandths, each decimal is 1/10 the value of the digit to its left. So let's look at what that means. So I'm going to erase this and let's look at a number. And let me explain what that means because you're going to need it for today's classwork. And we're not going to do everything you're going to need on this today, but we are going to do about half of it. So let's look at the number they just told us, 888 thousandths. It says each decimal is 1/10 the value of the digit to its left. So this 8 is 1/10 of this 8. This 8 is 1/10 of this 8. So if I ask you what is 1/10 of a given place, you would tell me what number comes to the right of it. So if I told you this, let me make that one a little easier for you to understand. Because in your classwork, they're going to give you this. In your classwork, they're going to say, what is 1/10 the given place? So they're going to give you a place. So say they give you hundredths. I put that S on it. Hundredths. What is the place that is 1/10 of that place? You're going to look at whatever is to the right of it. So if I have this number, 1.234, my 3 is in the hundredths place. That's the given place they give me. The number to the right is going to be 1/10 bigger. I mean smaller, I'm sorry. 1/10 smaller because it gets smaller as it goes longer. So if they gave you ones, that's our ones. Tenths would be 1/10 of that place. It's 1/10 smaller. Okay, so that's how you're going to do the first part of your classwork today. Now let me show you the next part. I don't want to give you too much. We're going to do the next part, then we're going to stop for the day because I don't want to give you too much today. So on the first part of your classwork, it's going to ask you what is 1/10 of the given place. Look at the number that's right to the right of it and tell me the place. So let's look now at what you're going to do for classwork. You're going to do something like this. They're going to give you 5 times 1 over 100. And they're going to ask you to write that in a decimal form. So all you do is take the 5 and then look at this place in the hundredths place. So 5 hundredths. Similarly, if I gave you 5 times 1 over 1,000, it would be 5 thousandths. Okay? All you're doing is taking the number, using the bottom part of the fraction, the denominator, to tell you what place it's in. Okay, so let's practice some more of those. If I gave you 7 times 1/10, the decimal form of that would be 0.7. Okay, if I gave you 9 times 1 over 100, decimal form would be 0.09. If I gave you 3 times 1 over 1,000, the decimal form would be 0.003. We did some of this last week, so this is kind of just setting us up for expanded form. So this is what you're going to do today for classwork, and then we're going to do more expanded form tomorrow. So today's classwork, you're going to do page 26, numbers 1 through 11. Okay, so that's going to be the place that's 1/10, the place they give you, and then writing it as a decimal like we have here. There is no homework today, and the reason is because your workbook doesn't really give this in there, so I don't want you to do the workbook page because we haven't really learned it yet. So there is no homework on this, so you've had 2 nights of no homework, but tomorrow night that changes, unfortunately. So start on these. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, here is our Wednesday video. So our Wednesday video, we're going to move on to the rest of the stuff we kind of talked about yesterday. So we're on page 26 and 27. So now we're going to move into expanded form and using what they give us to either write it in expanded form or write it in standard form. And we're going to be doing this for a few days. So let's look at some of the ones you're going to do today. So we're going to start with something like this. If I give you 2 34 thousandths, we need to make that into expanded form. So let's look at our 2 first. It's a whole number and it's in the ones place. So I would just say 2 times 1. Put my addition symbol, plus. Skip that 0, and I get to my 3. 3 is in the hundredths place. So I'm going to write 3 times 0.01. Okay? Number 4, addition symbol, 4 times 0.001 because it's in the thousandths place. It doesn't give you any direction here whether to put it in decimal form or fraction form, so I would just put it in decimal form like this. I am going to show you how you would do it in fraction form though. It would be 2 times 1 plus 3 times 1 over 100 plus 4 times 1 over 1,000. So either way is correct. If they don't tell you to do a specific way, I would just do the decimal form. Okay, so let's try another one of these. From here on out, I'm going to do the decimal on the ones we practice, and then we will get the others after that. So let's look at 4.12, 4 and 1200ths. 4 is in the ones place, so I'm going to say 4 times 1 plus, that 1 is in the tenths, so 1 times 0.1 plus 2 is in the hundredths, 2 times 0.1. That's how you would do that one. Actually, it would not be, it'd be 0.01. Sorry, caught myself there. I'm going to do another one in blue down here. That way I don't have to erase it and I can put it here. This one, let's do 4.325, or 4 and 325 thousandths. So here, I'm going to do 4 times 1, because that's in the ones place, plus 3 times 0.1, because that's in the tens place, plus 2 times 0.01 for the hundredths, plus 5 times 0.001 for the thousandths. And if you run out of room, you can just come right underneath it. Okay, so that's part of what we're going to do today. Then we're going to look on the next page at page 27. So let's look at some of those. Remember, this is up for you so that you can go back and forth on it. You don't have to try to cram it all in. You can pause it. You can go back and rewatch it, rewind it, fast forward, whatever you need to do. So they're going to give you some that look like this. 326 thousandths. So what they want you to do here is put it into expanded form. So same thing, you would look at this, 326 thousandths, go ahead and write it out so you know what it looks like. 0.326. That's going to be your first step. Write it into numbers so you know what you're looking at. Then I'm going to put that into expanded form by looking at here. We have no whole numbers, skip that 0. Look at the 3. 3 times 0.1 plus, look at the 2. 2 times 0.01 for the hundredths. Then we'll look at our 6, plus 6 times 0.001. So the same thing we did, just this time you need to actually write it out from words. So you're going to do a couple of those, and then we're going to go a little backwards this time. So let me look real quick and make sure we do examples of the right ones. All right, let's look at this one. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the one we just did because that one should be pretty easy. You're just wanting to look at the words, make it a number, then do expanded form. So they're going to give you ones like this. 3 times 1,000 plus 7 times 1/10 plus 8 times 1/1000. Then you're going to have to put it into number name on some of them, but I think I skipped those and I want you to do standard form and word form. So here we have to put it all together. So we have 3 times 1,000. We don't have any hundreds and we don't have any tens. So this is just going to be 3,000. No hundreds, no tens, no ones. Then I'm going to put my decimal. So in my tenths place, I see that here, I'm going to have a 7. In my hundredths place, there's nothing, so I'm going to put a 0. In the 1,000th place, there's an 8. So I get 3,708 thousandths. So to write that in words, we would say 3,708 thousandths. So on your classwork, they're going to give you something like this. You're going to have to tell me standard form and word form. Once you get the standard form, the word form should be pretty simple. So let's practice one of these again. If you just look at it really carefully, I know it looks confusing at first, but if you just take it and break it down, it's a lot easier. So let's look at 5 times 10 plus 3 times 1/10 plus 1 times 1/100 plus 6 times 1/1000. Okay, so let's look at this one. We have 5 times 10. I know that equals 50. There is no ones, so we're going to put a 0 for our ones. Then we're going to put our decimal. In our tenths place, we have a 3. In our hundredths place, we have a 1. And in our thousandths place, we have a 6. So it's pretty simple if you just take it step by step. Remember, if for some reason I didn't have that 100 part there, I would put a 0 for it. If you have every part, put the number. If you don't, have a 0. So right here, there's a tens place, but there's not a ones place. So I know that in that ones place, I need to put a 0. So to write this in word form, I would say 50 and 316 thousandths. Oops, THS. So classwork today, you're going to do page numbers 26 through 27. You're going to do numbers 17 through 19, 23, 24, 28, and 29. So those are a little split up because I only wanted you to do a couple of each kind. So that's what you're going to do today for classwork. And then your homework, and I'm putting it just everywhere, is going to be workbook, page 19. Okay? So this is the end of Wednesday's video. Work on your classwork and homework and get that turned in by tonight. All right, Thursday. Today we're going to work on a little bit more of what we worked on yesterday. We're just going to do the other problems. So I'm going to go ahead and put it right here, page 26 to 27. You're going to do 20 through 22, 25, 30, and 31. Your homework is going to be workbook, page 20. So let's look at what you're going to do today. For numbers 20 to 22, you're going to write it in expanded form. So all you do is take that fraction, not the fraction, sorry, the decimal, and you're going to expand it out using the place of each decimal. On number 25, it gives you word form. So you're going to take that and make it into a decimal. Then take that decimal, make it to expanded form. And then 30 and 31, they give you expanded form. You make it into a number and a word form. So this is what you did yesterday. So if you need to rewind the video to look back at Wednesday, that's what I would do for this. It's just like yesterday's work though, just different problems. Okay, so this is the end of Thursdays. All right, Friday, our last video of the week. So we're going to check some concepts today. This is where we're going to stop and kind of review what we've done so far. So I'm going to write down what we're doing, and then I'm going to go through how to do each problem with you. We're going to be on pages 28 to 29. You're going to do numbers 1 through 6, 9 through 11, 17, 18, 23, and 24. So let's look at those on page 28 and 29. Numbers 1 through 4 first are complete the number name of each number. So this one's pretty simple. They give you 6 and 58 blank. You tell me, how do we end that? Do we say 6 and 58 ones, 6 and 58 tenths, 6 and 58 hundredths, or 6 and 58 thousandths? So that's how you're going to do 1 through 4. Just put the letter. Numbers 5 and 6. Now this one's going to be a little different, so look at it. Determine the equivalent expression, select all that apply. So for 5 and 6, you can have more than one answer. So for number 5, you're going to have 2 answers. I'm going to narrow it down for you, make it a little easier. And number 6 has 3 answers. So that's how you're going to do those. So you're going to look, and the first one is 5 and 9 thousandths. So you're going to look at each one of these and tell me, does it match 509 thousandths? Would it be the same thing as that number they give you? That's how you're going to do number 5 and 6, sorry. Then you're going to go down to 9 and 11, 9 through 11, I'm sorry. For 9, 10, and 11, you're going to complete the fraction of that number. So for example, if we have 0.2 equals something over 100, that 2 tells me that it's in the tenths place, so I would have 20 over 100. So you're just going to add another 0 to the end of it. If I had 0.03 equals something over 1,000, that 3, I would add another 0 to the end and make it 30 over 1,000. And then if I have something like this, 0.9 equals something over 10, I would just put 9. So look at those when you're doing your classwork, because those are kind of freebie answers. For 17 and 18, you're going to write it in expanded form, just like we've been doing. And for 23 and 24, you're going to write the number name for the ones they give you in expanded form. Okay, so there's no homework tonight. It's Friday. If you guys have any questions, let me know.